Now 34 from Morocco. Martins, the #1 Frenchman. Halvorsen of Norway. Barrios, the world record holder from Mexico. Chalimo, the Commonwealth record holder, only 20. Tremendous athlete. Runner-up in the World Championship. Cilio from Argentina. Khalid Skar, twice the World Cross-Country Champion. Third in the World Championships last year. Urata, the #1 man from Japan. Moses Tanui, the World Champion from Kenya. Yawa, the South African #1. And Thibaut, the double European champion from Italy. Paul Evans from Great Britain, 5th in the London Marathon earlier this season, now producing the best 10,000 metre form of his life. Nururka from Great Britain, a member of Bingley Harriers, also in very good form. Quintanilla from 25 laps of the track, starting in 2 packs of 20 athletes. They follow the cones and in fact break at the beginning of the back straight and join up. It is a BB there, showing early. Skar just behind him. On the far side, Nururka and Kaldi of Hungary. We're looking for the red vests of the Kenyan, though, to see if they attack, as they did in the World Championship. Tanui in particular and Chalimo. 11:28, William Tanui, the World Champion. 9:23, Kaldi. 7:46, Nururka. 4:61 of BB. 1:2.42, the Mexican Quintanilla. But after that initial rush to get a place, they're settling down now to sensibility. Nururka leads. That is a BB in second place. Look at him, he's only 21, they say, 4:61. Kaldi of Hungary. That is a BB. Took a sidelong look at Kaldi then of Hungary. Got a jab, and it's usually the Africans who dish out the jabs. Coming round to complete the first lap, and it's a 69. So that's not too fast.
Well, Richard Nururka will be happy with that, but the reason he's at the front is because he's expecting the Kenyans to do what they've been telling everybody they're going to do. Their team managers agree that they're going to run as a team because they do fear Baissa of Ethiopia. But Richard Nururka has certainly grown up in the last 12 months as a distance runner, 5th in the World Championships last year. And when I look at this field, there are 14 men in this field who've run faster than Richard Nururka, and incidentally 8 of those 14 have run more than half a minute faster than Richard Nururka. But he's not overawed, because 10,000 metre running is not about the times you've got in your scorebook. And it's not about times in an event like the Olympic Games. It's about who can hold it together in the pressure of competition and in the way the race may be run, and who can produce their best form on the night. And his best champion, and he's decided that he's going to take the Kenyans, going to take on the Africans at their own game. He can never hold it under his belt. He always has to let it out, and there he's going. He's pushing, and immediately they're scattering behind him, and they start sprinting. It's a completely different race within 110 metres.
Actually, and Thibaut, the double European champion, 5,000 and 10,000 metres, is an Italian with African instincts. He really does love to push it, and he loves to take the Africans on at their own game. And he's quite prepared, as he's doing now, to play it fast and slow.
But I sometimes think that by doing that, he doesn't do himself any good. I sometimes think he does it a bit more aggressively. He changes pace much more than he needs to do. And you know, he was running those first 2 laps, and I bet he was itching for someone to take up the pace. And no one would, so he did it. He stretched him out for 300 metres. The whole thing changed, and now they slowed down again. And the best place to be on a night like this is in the middle of the group, 5 or 6, trying to keep the pace equal, trying to keep the pace level. And as I say that, Barrios comes up on the outside, immediately overtaken by his teammate, Quintanilla. And the thing about this race is that the Africans have conned everybody. They've told everybody they were going to try and run 27 minutes for 10,000 metres. That isn't look as though it's going to happen. And they're running a more sensible race than we sometimes see them do. Watch Thibaut. Watch how he reacts to this pace. And look at Chalimo. Chalimo is a fearsome distance runner. He can run extremely well for large chunks of this race. Moses Tanui moves up on the outside. But the man they all fear, Baissa from Ethiopia, is in there hiding away in the middle of the field, not changing the pace too much, and realizing that the first 4 laps of a 10,000 metres, they're just to get the lap scorer down. They're not really all that serious. Mess very, very quickly there. It's Koech leading, he's stretching them out, and he's just blown them all away by that, but he'll slow down again.
Well, certainly there's a bit of needle out there as well. They were bunching and nobody prepared to do anything really serious. And Barrios was getting quite annoyed as Scar moving out, Chalimo going in and out. And certainly the Africans very erratic in their placings. Coet's leading, but Tayyab in second place. Scar is third, Chalimo comes fourth. Fifth place is Silva. Just behind him is Tanui. And the Kenyans gathering in numbers now. That was a 64-second lap, the fastest so far. Coet, Kenya. Tayyab of Morocco in second place. There's Tanui going through, the world champion. And gradually, the men in red are working their way through. Baissa, the Ethiopian, back behind Antibo. That's the other Ethiopian, 461. 1 or 2 shoulder charges.
Well, it is up and down, and there's nobody holding a consistent place in this race except Baissa of Ethiopia. He's been about 7th or 8th place all the time. He hasn't got involved in any of these changes of pace, and all of a sudden, Coet at the front slows down. The whole field concertinas together, and they're coming up with 17 laps to go, and the race for the tape is going to be a shorter endurance test than it would have been if it went off the way we expected it to. And Richard Naruga realizes that. He's moving up in amongst them into 3rd place there, running control, running very well, and allowing Chalimo, following Chalimo, and Chalimo suddenly starts to change the pace, starts to accelerate. But a one burst of 64 seconds doesn't make any difference. It's applying that gradually, keeping it going, keeping it moving along, and the first Kenyans of first, second and 4th place, with the Bibi of Ethiopia in 3rd, and Scar of Morocco moves through, and Hamou Boutayeb moves through, and Fita Baissa moves through.
Well, in spite of all the bursts and surges, the race is fairly slow. It's about 27:40 at the moment. Expected something rather faster than that. But they are injecting pace, but it's not sustained pace now. I think it might be from here on now. The 20-year-old Chalimo loves to front run, and he's taken it on. Now, he did that with Tanui in the World Championship, and they ran right away from the rest, but he's got Coet now as his teammate behind him. 16 to go. Chalimo leads, Coet second. In 3rd place is Bibi, 4 is Tanui. 5 now is Scar of Morocco, then 6 Baissa, the Ethiopian. 7 is Antibo. And in 8th place is Silva of Portugal, and the last lap is 62, so the business has really opened. It's really started now. 15 and a half laps to go. Coet has taken it on from Chalimo, and perhaps the story about the Kenyans sharing the workload is going to turn out to be true. They rarely do. They love to compete against each other. They always compete, all the time. And they won't sacrifice much for their teammates. Chalimo, having a look up at the big screen, he's got a Bibi now, Ethiopia, right behind him. Coet goes into 3rd place, but refuses to accept a Bibi there. Now he goes back to 2nd. Scar comes through on the inside of Morocco. So it's Chalimo, Coet, Scar, Bibi. And Tanui goes through and charges little Bibi. He nearly knocked him off the track. A bit fearsome down there. Chalimo, he's not enjoyed this change of pace, Naroka, and he's way back. He's 3rd, 6th, 8th, 10. Evans is 9, by the way, and Naroka some 20 metres behind Evans. In fact, perhaps now 30, in 11th place. So the African Brigade way out in front. The Kenyans and the Ethiopians. 3 Kenyans, 2 Ethiopians, and a Moroccan. Then a gap to Antibo. Then the world record holder Barrios from Mexico. And in 9th place, determined to stay with them, Paul Evans. Behind him is Silva of Mexico. Then comes Yawa of South Africa, Naruka of Great Britain, Martins of France.
And then a brave effort by Antibo, but the Africans are taking it to him the way he likes to take it to the rest of the Europeans when he runs on the European circuit.
halfway point, 5,000 metres reached in 13:53.